Okay, when I was a young girl, my grandmother always used to say that you had to think ahead of time if you want to save yourself a lot of work. In other words, think about what you're going to have for breakfast and lunch, even or dinner, even the day before. And try to do as much of your breakfast and lunch actually at the same time if possible. It's going to save a lot of money, a lot of time in case things go really bad. Now, I make a lot of things myself at home because they just want too much money for it at the store. Now, what I got here is a loaf of cinnamon raisin bread. They want way too much for it at the store, and the quality just isn't cut up to what I would want it to be. But I didn't want to make two loaves of it because I've been wanting to make a fish sandwich. And so I wanted to make my own hamburger buns for the fish sandwich. So what I did is I made this, the cinnamon raisin bread, and then I also made my hamburger buns for my dinner. Now, what I'm trying to say is this cinnamon bread, my Nutter Butter has been bugging me to death to cut him a slice of this. He's just like one slice because, see, I serve this as breakfast. It's great as a toast with a couple scrambled eggs, even a hard-boiled egg with it. Just makes a really nice, light, quick breakfast, especially lately since I have to feed the goats myself. They had so many, and two of them just don't want to nurse off of her, and so I have to milk her and nurse the baby, so time is short for me. And so I decided I would make some raisin cinnamon bread. Doesn't that look good? And we could have that in a couple scrambled eggs, but he was insistent he wanted some of it right now. He didn't want to wait till breakfast tomorrow. Because, see, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to be cooking tomorrow. And this is going to be part of my breakfast tomorrow. I'm going to have this and a couple scrambled eggs and maybe a piece of bacon or maybe just a couple scrambled eggs or a hard-boiled egg. And also, I've got my hamburger buns that I made because I want to make a fish sandwich for dinner. And so I cooked both things, got everything ready. So what I'm going to do for tomorrow is already prepared. There's my hamburger buns. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'll just get my hamburger buns from the store. It's coming to a time when you may not be able to. Not only that, sometimes you run out of things and you spend $5-6 on gas to go get something, which would be far cheaper for you to do and make it home, and it's far better for you. I'm sorry, but those hamburger buns at the store just do not hold up very well. And I use this to make sandwiches. Remember, bologna is round. And so, tuna fish sandwiches, this is just a really dense, good hamburger. Or they call them hamburger buns, but I use it like bread. A chicken salad sandwich, just, pulled, not pulled pork, but yes, you could make a pulled pork sandwich with this, but a pulled chicken sandwich. Oh, Lord, is it good. So, what I'm trying to say is we need to think ahead and be prepared, for all that wheat that may end up going very high. They keep cheating us out of more and more. The cookies used to be much bigger in the bag. Well, the cookies are a lot smaller, and they're a lot more expensive. They've gone that way with the hamburger buns, too. So, I just prefer to make it myself. But now I'm going to give you the recipe to all this. Here's the recipe for it. Okay, in this bowl I have 2 cups of flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now the recipe calls for 2 packages of active yeast, but I don't buy yeast in packages. I buy it in bulk, in bags. And 1 package of yeast is actually 2 teaspoons and a quarter teaspoon. So that's 4 teaspoons and 2/4 of a teaspoon, which would be, a fourth and then a fourth. And then this also calls for 2 cups of very warm water and a 1/4 cup of oil. And I've got that heating. And then we're going to mix that in and mix this all up. Now we're mixing this in. And we're going to add more flour to it. Now, the recipe calls for up to 6 cups. This is 2 here. I'm going to add another one here. And we're just going to keep mixing and mixing this and adding flour. And then we're going to knead it out. Okay, here we have. We're just kneading it in. We're kneading more flour into it is what we're doing. I put a cup of flour on top of my countertop here, and I'm just going to keep kneading in this flour until, you know, you want it to be like medium firm and, you know, not real soft and not tacky, but you just keep kneading the flour on your board here, or whatever you use. I use my countertop to knead mine in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into a greased bowl. Here it is, top and bottom. I flip it over so that it's greased. Now it's risen to about double, and I'm going to punch it down. And then I'm going to pour it back out on the floured countertop again. And I'm going to knead it just a little bit because, see, there's oil in the bowl, so then the dough is kind of a little bit oily. And so I just need a little bit more flour into it so it's not so oily and tacky. And what I'm going to do to this is, remember, I'm going to make my hamburger buns, and I'm going to make some cinnamon raisin bread with this, okay? So what I have to do here is I need to do it in 2 pieces. So I'm going to cut it in half. I try to make it pretty even. And 1/2 I'm going to make the hamburger buns with it, and the other half I'm going to make the cinnamon raisin bread. So I'm going to set the bun, that's the 1/2 is for the buns, because I'm going to make the raisin bread first. Now normally when you make cinnamon raisin bread or raisin bread, you stir the raisins into the dough as you stir the dough. But see, I didn't want to do that because I'm making 2 different kinds. So now what I'm going to do is actually try to get them raisins into this dough. It's going to be a fun job to do, but I will get it done. Now I use a 1/2 cup of raisins in this, and you see I'm going to squish them, squash them, and stick them in there. And I'm going to keep working them in there. Because like I said, you normally would do it when you're mixing the dough. But I want my bread for 2 different things, so I'm going to get these raisins in there. And trust me, they will be in there. Now, I do put my raisins in a cup with a cup of hot water, and I let those raisins soak. It kind of plumps them up, and, you know, keeps them from being so dry. You see, I got that worked in there really nice and pretty. Now I'm going to roll it out. You see, those raisins are in there. No problem, I got them in there. And I'm going to roll this bread out. I'm telling you, it's lip smacking good. And I'm going to put some butter over the top of this. Melted butter. It's 2 tablespoons of butter that I've got that I'm just going to put over the top of this. In a separate bowl, I put a 1/4 cup of sugar with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I mix the sugar and the cinnamon together because after I get this butter swirled all over this dough, I'm going to sprinkle that cinnamon and sugar over the top of this. That's the cinnamon sugar part to this, you know, the cinnamon raisin bread. Some people just like raisin bread, some people just like cinnamon bread, but we actually like the both combined together, cinnamon raisins and cinnamon raisin bread. You just sprinkle this right over the top of it. Yep. Oh, this is so tasty, especially with some butter that's been softened just a little bit in the microwave so it's soft and you can just spread it all over the bread. Oh, it's so good like that. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to roll it up after I've got all that cinnamon raisin on there. I'm going to roll this up to make like a loaf. You see, I'm going to start rolling this. It's like I had to move my camera a little bit here. There you go. You see? And I have a bread pan off to the side. My bread pans I got at Target like over 20-something years ago. They were, I don't know, they're made from some sort of a clay. And I'd never seen anything like that. And I got sick of sealing this right here. Where the seam is, you want to pinch it together with your fingertips. But I got tired of replacing aluminum pans. And I've had these things for like 25 years, and they do not have them at Target anymore. I grease that pan. Always grease your pan. Now I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to put it in my oven with a plastic bag. Just whatever plastic bag, until it rises to almost double. Now I'm going to work on my hamburger buns. That's right. That's what I'm doing right here is the hamburger buns. And I'm just flattening them out with my hand. And I'm going to put them on like a cookie sheet. And I just keep doing it. And just pinching them out, Just, they don't have to be perfect size, perfect round, perfect anything. They just have to be perfectly delicious. That's all. And this is not that complicated. Yes, it does take time. But hey, you got your breakfast and dinner done with. And you can always use the extra hamburger buns for bologna sandwich, tuna fish sandwich. They taste good just cut open and toasted. Just put you some butter in a pan and just cut them open and set that bread down in there and let that get nice and toasted. Oh, that tastes good with a couple of scrambled eggs. And you just flatten them out, just like so. And then I will put them on a cookie sheet and let them sit and rest until they get double. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And I showed you the end product in the beginning. Yummy. God bless. Have a blessed day.